Welcome to r/Am I the Butthole, where OP's grandson's mother expects him to pay for everything. Our next post comes from Mike Acceptable 8486. Am I the butthole for not financially supporting the mother of one of my grandsons? My wife, 49, and I, 52, have a son in his 20s. We are paying his expenses while he goes to school. While he had a short-lived romance with a woman, 24, at school, which resulted in a pregnancy. She also already had another kid. Our grandson's now 14 months old. In addition to going to school, our son is working full-time and still pays child support. Despite this, she is struggling. The father of her other child is not in the picture, and she has no contact with her own family. She has asked us for money on a number of occasions, but we always refuse. We are willing to buy whatever she needs for our grandson, and we do buy things for him. But what she wants is cash, and that is not something we are willing to do. Things escalated recently, as for a Christmas gift for our grandson, we told my son and her, we kind of had to tell her so she knew in case anything happened to our son, that we would be setting up a trust for our grandson and putting a fair bit of money into the trust at this time. She lost it on us. Apparently, she cannot even afford her apartment anymore and could use some of that money right now. I thought she was way out of line asking for this money. I'm pretty sure I'm in the right, but I'd like to hear other perspectives. Am I the butthole? Yeah, OP, I think you're in the clear here. Yeah, it does suck that she's not in contact with her own family, but at the end of the day, it's your money, and you can do whatever you want with your money. Our next Reddit post comes from Elsa After Dark. Am I the butthole for refusing to babysit my sister's kids after she called me just the fun aunt? My sister, 28, and I, a 34-year-old female, have always been close. Or so I thought. She has 3 kids, ages 9, 6, and 3, and a husband, 36, who usually works long hours, so naturally, I've stepped in to help wherever I can. I adore my niece and nephews, and I've always tried to be there for them no matter what, whether it's hosting sleepovers, taking them on fun outings, or just giving my sister a break. But lately, I felt taken for granted. I work a demanding job, and although I don't have kids myself, my free time is still very limited. Despite this, I've rearranged my schedule countless times to babysit, sometimes even at the last minute, because my sister always swears she has no one else, and I never ask for money or anything in return because, well, family. Last week, my sister called me in a panic. She had an unexpected work event. She needed someone to watch the kids, and once again, I stepped up. I left work early, I canceled dinner plans with my boyfriend, and drove 45 minutes to her house. When she got home later that night, I overheard her on the phone with her husband. She didn't realize I was still there, cleaning up the tornado of toys her kids had left behind. She said something along the lines of, "Oh, don't worry, my sister will always help. She's just the fun aunt with no real responsibilities. It's not like she has anything else better to do." I froze. I waited for her to hang up and then asked her if she really believed that. She laughed awkwardly and said I was overreacting, insisting she didn't really mean it like that. She says she was just stressed, and of course she appreciated me, but it didn't really feel genuine. I left shortly after and didn't bring it up again until she texted me a few days later, asking if I could babysit the kids this weekend. I responded saying, "Sorry, I can't. You'll have to find someone else this time." She called me immediately upset and asked why I was being so selfish. I told her I didn't appreciate being taken for granted or being seen as someone with no real responsibilities. She got defensive, saying I was twisting her words and punishing her kids over something she didn't even mean. And of course, now my parents are involved. They think I'm overreacting and should forgive and forget because, quote, family helps family. But I'm exhausted. I love my niece and nephews, but I can't keep dropping everything to help someone who doesn't even value my time. My sister is now furious with me, claiming I'm abandoning her kids out of spite. Am I the butthole for standing my ground? Definitely not the butthole, OP. If your sister doesn't value your time, then you don't need to be over there. I'll tell you, your sister will definitely start valuing your time a heck of a lot more when she's paying out the butt for a babysitter. And if your parents are so concerned about family helping family, then they can babysit the kids. Why is it your responsibility to babysit the kids? You have a life too, don't you? And at the end of the day, they're not your kids. They're not your responsibility. You can love them all you want, but at the end of the day, it's your sister's responsibility to find coverage for them, not yours, OP. Don't feel bad. Our next post comes from More I 5299. Am I the butthole for doing nothing to stop my stepsister from being bullied and refusing to apologize for it? My stepsister, who's 14, is being bullied in school. I'm 16 and I knew about it and did nothing. The reason? She bullied my sister, who's 13 now, for years and still bullies her at times when I'm not around. That's actually how our dad met her mom. There was a pretty big incident at school and dad and her mom were called in to speak with the principal and talk about a game plan. They consented to this buddy program for them, so my stepsister would need to be there for my sister for a few hours each week at school. They're in different grades, by the way. After my dad went out with coffee with her, they ended up dating and married 1 year later. This all started when my sister started getting bullied in the first grade, and the bullying got worse when our mom lost all custody of us. She ended up becoming an addict and wasn't safe to be around us. My stepsister found out through gossiping people, and she tormented my sister about how much our mom didn't love us and stuff of that nature. It really broke my sister, and then it led to the incident where my stepsister grabbed my sister by the hair and pushed her down in front of a bunch of other kids in the grade above my sister's, aka my stepsister's grade. My sister was really hurt when dad started dating this girl's mom, and I was pissed. Dad and I don't have a good relationship because of it anymore, and I told him and his wife that they are both buttholes of people to do that to my sister. Our relationship has a lot of conflicts now. I refuse to be nice to my stepsister either. She might be young, but she tortured my sister for 7 years now, and it never got any better. My sister, not being in high school yet, means she's in her safe space at school for 1 more year. Before that, she didn't have a safe space at home or at school. I told my dad he did that, and he told me things will get better, and we're a family now. When my stepsister started high school, she had trouble adapting, and then 2 girls in my grade started making fun of her. I heard about it, but never saw it. By October, everyone was talking about how the girls in my grade were shaming her and calling her all kinds of names. They also spread rumors about her and other stuff. I never said or did anything. A part of me was glad she was being the subject of a little of what she was putting out to my sister, though. I made sure to keep my sister away from her as much as possible because I know my stepsister being bullied could have made her bully my sister worse. Things got really bad at the start of the month. There was a fight between her and like 5 other girls. They all started taunting her and ganging up on her. After the incident, her mom was called, and my dad and her mom found out more. They were in and out of the school for a couple of weeks, and last week they were told it was the, quote, talk of the school, which made my dad confront me about not doing anything. I told him I would never help her. I helped my sister, not my sister's bully. I told him I don't care what happens to the other girl, and I'm doing what he should have done and taken my sister's side, and I won't be expected to play family with that brat. Dad lectured me about it, and I ignored him because I wasn't going to apologize for it, and the 2 of them lectured me even more about not doing anything and not apologizing. Am I the butthole? Not the butthole, OP. Your dad is delusional for 1, marrying your sister's bully's mom. That is the biggest screw you to your daughter that you could ever give her. And secondly, you hate to say this about kids, but 16 is way more than old enough to know right from wrong. And if you're going to continue to bully people at 16, you can't be mad when someone gives you a taste of your own medicine. Our next post comes from Maleficent Mike 8023. Am I the butthole for no longer speaking with my best friend after her reaction to seeing me naked? I, a 20-year-old male, have been friends with Julie, a 20-year-old female, for almost 13 years. We went to the same middle school, high school, and even got accepted into the same college. We also studied the same major. We were really close. We did a lot of things together, and we always had each other to rely on. A few months ago, when I was walking Julie back home to her apartment after a party, she invited me in to watch some TV and hang out. During the middle of some movie, we started making out. We've made out a few times, but we've never taken it further than that. However, Julie did want to take it further that night, and it was really getting hot and heavy. I wasn't sure about it because I didn't know how this would affect our friendship in the long run, but I was also pretty drunk, so my inhibitions were a little bit lessened. But when she removed my boxers, there was an instant reaction in her face, which really hurt me. For context, I am tall, about 6'5", but I have a pretty average-sized package down there. I'm guessing Julie expected something much bigger because, well, I'm tall. Either way, Julie said she needed a minute to compose herself, and she asked if we could proceed at a later date, as she wasn't really feeling it that night anymore. Julie apologized a lot, and I told her it was all right, and I left. The next day, Julie called me and apologized a lot. It was even crying on the phone and asked if it would affect our friendship. I told her I just needed space from her. Julie accepted it, but ever since then, I've kind of just ghosted her and no longer really hung out with her. We used to study together for exams and finals weeks, but I told Julie I wasn't feeling it, and I just studied on my own. Julie invited me to her home for Christmas, as I'm also really close with her family, but I told her that I didn't want to go. I came home for Christmas and my sister asked me about Julie and if anything happened between us. My sister is also friends with Julie. I told my sister up front that nothing serious happened, but I don't really want to be friends with Julie anymore. My sister didn't press any further, and I thanked her for being understanding. Last night, Julie did call me again and was crying on the phone a lot and asked me about our friendship and if it was over. I told her up front that I just don't want to be friends with her anymore, and I hope she respects that decision. Julie apologized a lot and asked if there was anything she could do. I told her she had no reason to apologize, but I just wanted to move forward and leave this all in the past. I told Julie sorry and then hung up. Am I the butthole? And then OP posts an update. Having read a few comments about how our friendship at least needed a final discussion before closure, I decided to call Julie and just put it all out there. We had a video call, and I told her my feelings about how that night had really hurt me and how I felt humiliated and degraded. Julie apologized and said how she reacted was really insensitive and she regrets it to this day. She said she didn't know why she reacted like that, and there were a lot of other things going through her mind at that moment. She then started crying really badly and said she loved me and did not want our friendship to end. I was surprised when she used that word, loved. I don't know why she said that. I told Julie up front that I just don't feel comfortable with her anymore and that I mentally associate my humiliation with her, and I don't think I'll ever be able to disassociate it. I told her that it's not her fault, but we just need to end it for everyone's good. We talked for a few more minutes, and it was really sad, but I was thankful that Julie accepted and understood my decision. That's probably my final update. Thank you everyone for the advice. That really sucks, OP, but definitely not the butthole. It sucks that you lost a 13-year friendship with someone, and although, of course, she can say no whenever she wants if she doesn't want to do the deed anymore, but on the same token, if that situation kind of made you feel uncomfortable, then it's your right to not be friends with who you don't want to be friends with anymore, too. In all case, that sucks, OP. I'm sorry. That was r/Am I the Butthole. If you like that, please like and subscribe as we put out new videos almost every single day.